Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. Rabbi Moray is off this week. I am Pam Reynolds. I almost said Pam Lowe, but I have to remember I am happily married now. Sometimes I forget. And of course, with me is the lovely and talented Jessie Thorpe.
Oh, thank you.
We begin welcoming Shabbat this evening with the lighting of our Shabbat candles, and we welcome Judy Goldman.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. There's got to be a trick to this.
I struggle with it too.
Okay, I feel stupid. I can't get it to work.
Let's see.
I heard it.
There we go.
There we go.
Keep doing it. Don't stop while you get it right. Thank you. Team effort. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who held us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Sabbath.
Amen. There's your math. Page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue with the singing of Ma Yafeh Hayam on page 10.
Shabbat Shalom, Ma'afer Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
And we turn to page 20 as we welcome the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lecha Dodi. And of course, the tradition in our temple is to do verses 1, 2, and then stand for verse 9. Page 20.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Boi shalom ateret ba'ala Gam simcha u'b'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi kala Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela. And you may be seated. Let's read together at the bottom of page 24. It's the English of Shalom Aleichem. I want us to do a little more English tonight than usual because sometimes I feel that we do a lot of Hebrew and we don't really know what we're saying or why we're saying it. So we're going to read 24 together and then Jesse will lead us in the Hebrew. Ready? Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Enter in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Bless me with peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Depart in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
If If you're able, please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. The Chatzi Kaddish praises God's name.
Yitkada v'yitkada shmei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'amad yivarach cherutei ve'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala u'v'zman kariv v'imheru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'alam l'almei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei Kudeshah Barichu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata Tush berchata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma V'meru Amen.
And we continue standing for the call to worship on page 28, the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
And you may be seated, please. Let's read together page 30 at the bottom. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Zevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. And on page 32, everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam med Yisrael amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochmenu Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla Negei yomam v'layla Ve'ahavadcha v'tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
continue with the Shema on page 34, and you have the option of rising if you desire.
Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. We'll continue with the Via Chavta, and we're going to, I think we'll do this one in Hebrew first and then in English, so we know what it is. We just heard.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And together in the English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. We continue on page 39. Let's also read together at the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We continue with Micha Mocha on the next page.
Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele Nora tehilot osefele.
Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. We continue with the singing of Vishamru on page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam Oti leolam Veshamru b'nei Yisrael Et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam.
In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. We rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi agid tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevig Geula Lifnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav LaHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Moriv HaGashem, Mechachel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Geburot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Page 53. Where might I go to find you, exalted, hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you. Please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. And on page 55, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. And on page 56, checking my notes, okay.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam be'ahava tikabel, U'tehi leratzon, Tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael amecha. El karam lechol korav penei, el avadecha lechaneinu. Shefoch ruchacha
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, shechotka levavcha v'yirah na'avod. We continue together on the top of page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hama'arech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov einecha levarech et Amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take some time for silent meditation.
Iu leratzon imrefir. Iu leratzon imrefir. Vegion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri vegali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, say shalom aleinu. Le'akol Yisrael. Leimeru, leimeru. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. How's the service going? Good? Okay. Awesome. I like to check in with everybody. So very recently, we celebrated Simchat Torah, where we finished reading the very end of the Torah and then immediately started reading the Torah again. And last week, since we're starting all over again, we read the creation story. God creates the world. God creates Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve are expelled from the garden. Their son Cain kills Abel. Oy vey, trouble has begun. Time goes on, and the world is becoming more and more evil. There is violence. There is stealing. There is corruption. Finally, God says he can't have any more of this. He can't have all this immorality because he created a world of peace, a world that we could be closer to God, not at each other's throats. So we pretty much know the story of Noah's Ark, which is this week's Parsha. We know that God's ready to destroy the world, destroy everyone except Noah, who was very righteous, Noah and his wife and his sons, and we know about the animals 2 by 2. We know about that. But the rest of the world is destroyed in a great flood. So tonight I want to share with you 5 lessons that we can learn from this week's Parsha, Parsha Noach. First, the word flood in Hebrew is mabul, and mabul is related to the word bilbul, and bilbul means confusion. Bilbul refers to everything coming down on you, a flood of chaos, a flood of confusion, a flood of life, a flood of challenges. Yet there's a message in these floods, these challenges that we have in our life. And the message is that these challenging times happen so that there can be an outcome of something positive. Let me repeat that. These challenges happen so there can be an outcome of something positive. God wanted to destroy the world so that he could start over and bring a world of tranquility, restfulness, and peace. Right after the flood, God says there will never be another flood. And we know about the rainbow, that is the sign he gives us so that he keeps his promise. God says, I won't need to make a flood again. Well, why does he say this? Because the flood introduced to humanity a new concept, and that's the concept of reflection. Remember, this is still the beginning of creation. This is a time period where people were basically, violent and stealing from each other and not reflecting on their behavior. So one of the lessons of the flood is the lesson of reflection. Reflection means we think about what we did and we repent for what we did. Noah's world before the flood was very rough. However, when we reflect, we create a more refined world. We are not perfect, but we should be open to reflecting on our behavior. So the flood introduced us to self-reflection, to being more open to seeing our behavior. When we have challenges, if we face them with a bigger perspective, if we look at the big picture, then we can see our challenges are actually good for us. So here's a basic example. We know that Halloween is coming, right? A couple of days from now. And candy is all around us. And where I work, there's 2 candy bowls, and they have the good chocolate in them. Well, I like chocolate. So it's really easy to give into temptation, but start to eat too much candy, you start to gain weight, feel sluggish from too much sugar, that fear of cavities. So instead of having candy, I started to reflect on my behavior of helping myself too many times to the candy bowl. But if I surround myself with fruit or healthful snacks, then I have an alternative. I can feel healthier, maybe not put on so much weight, maybe not feel so sluggish due to all that sugar consumption. So actually, I see the challenge of Halloween or Halloween candy as a gift. It's a gift that I can reflect on and change my situation and come out for the better. My actions matter. And actually today, because I wrote this last night, today at work, I did a better job. I had a little chocolate, but I really kind of toned it down, so I was proud of myself. Maybe there are other situations where we can reflect and see something differently. Maybe we could see the pain in others. Let's think more about reflection and why God chose a rainbow as his sign for no more floods. How is a rainbow formed? This is a question for you could answer. How is a rainbow formed? Where's my scientist? Perfect, light through water. So a rainbow is a reflection of light on water. The rainbow was created because of the flood. Before the flood, the atmosphere was very thick and it was unable to reflect the light. But after the flood, people actually had a spiritual change. There's like a spiritual reality. They realized that their words and their actions matter. Confusion and chaos. Think about your to-do list. We all have them, right? When you wake up in the morning, do you feel that you have so much to do, you don't even know where to start? Do you feel like you're drowning in all that's coming at you from all sides? All day, you're running, running, running. Anybody feel like that? Yeah. So what to do? Well, Torah says, and here's another Hebrew word, Torah says to build a teva. So teva is the Hebrew word for Noah's Ark. And that word teva only appears twice in the whole Torah. Here first, referring to Noah's Ark, and the second time referring to the basket where the baby Moses was placed beside the Nile River. Can you see any similarities between Noah's Ark and Noah's baby basket? A floating refuge. So to bring peace to yourself when you're faced with all this of what do I do first, there's so much going on, what do I do, you can create your own personal ark, a place where you can go and say a prayer, or sing a song, or write, or breathe, or just do something to get regrounded, to center yourself and refocus. So I like that idea of a teva, a personal ark. Noah built the ark from gopher wood, and gopher wood is a flexible wood. Likewise, we need to be flexible when the world is coming at us. We need to be flexible to other people's options and ideas. After the 40 days and nights of rain, Noah sent out a dove. When it came back, it held an olive branch, right, with olive leaves. Now, an olive itself, it doesn't look like much, and in my opinion, it doesn't taste like much. I don't like olives. But when the olives are squeezed, they produce oil. So olives represent potential. When we look at our world and look for the potential in something, we can see the potential for good. And I do like to cook with olive oil. So to summarize, from a flood of chaos, there's 5 things or 5 lessons we've learned. We can go through challenges because they lead to something positive. We can reflect on our behavior to create a more refined world. We can go into our personal ark to refocus our minds. We can be flexible like gopher wood and be open to other people's options, opinions, and ideas. And we can see the potential for good in others, like tasteless olives becoming olive oil. So these are some lessons from the story of Noah's Ark. Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues on page 253. I'm going to grab some water. Okay. So we pray for all types of healing. Physical healing, emotional healing, so much healing that is always needed in our world. In our community, we pray for healing for Pat Hanna, Doug Ford, Steve Tottleben, Merv Weinman, Diane Levy, Joan Rosenthal, John Giampa, Scott Gordon, Sarah Parton, Connie Mattis, Jan Woods, Bob Breakstone, Frank Fusaro, Renee Goldman, Phil DeFrancesco, Jay Kaler, Debbie Perry, Amy Daughtery, Dick Metcalf, Sharon Johns, Shelley Schloss, Diane Kaler, Pat Scutella, Bernice Fox, Julie Matthews, Dane Marcinowski, Maggie Lee, Noriak Grinberg, Robert Wozniak, Pam Waters, Corlin Moray, Mark Mattis, Tammy Reynolds, Sydney Scrimenti, Andy Green. If you're with us through the live stream, feel free to put a name in the chat. And if you are here in person and you'd like to share a name out loud, please do so as I look around. We join in our prayer for healing on page 253.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor habracha Leamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
As we work our way to almost the conclusion of our service, we rise for page 282 for the Aleinu. And I just wanted to point out that we start with the middle of the page for the Aleinu. Then we continue on the top at 284, and we conclude on 287. So if you're able, please rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחתינו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust in the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction, he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. We are in the period of Shloshim for Amanda Rachel Pinsky Thomas, daughter of Jeff and Doris Pinsky. This Shabbat, we remember, we observe the yahrzeits of Theodore Barilla, Israel Shapira, Bella Schuster, Maria Weitzik, Rudolph Waltz, Herman Herskovitz, Fanny Jacobson, Isidore Sobel, Benedict Levy, William S. Rich, Meyer Nast, Lisa Chinsky, Jane Kramer Buchanan, and Frieda Rosenthal. If you're joining us through the live stream and you'd like to add a name, please do so in our chat box. And if you have a name you'd like to share, please speak it out loud. If you're able to, please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yikadav Yikadash Shemei Rabbah, B'yama Divrach Hirute V'yamlik Malchute, B'chayechon Uvyomechon, Uvchaye Decho Beit Yisrael, B'galat B'zman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olomei Almaya. Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitparar V'yitraman V'yitnaseh. V'yithadar V'yitalel V'yitalal Shemei D'Kedusha B'riku. Le'ela Minko Birchata V'shirata Tishbechata V'nehemata Damiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'romav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. You may be seated. At this time, I invite our president, Rochelle Kowinski, for any announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Boy, there was a lot of singing here tonight. That was great. I know Jesse really appreciated having all that assistance. I do, thank you. We really appreciate your singing, believe me. Services this week are in memory of our beloved Lisa Chinsky. Services continue tomorrow via Zoom at 10 a.m., and Shabbat morning services will be led by Joel Wallman.
And in person too.
Pardon?
In person too.
And in person too, thank you. And Torah study at 11. And I want to remind everyone that on Friday, November 11th, we have a special TGIS, the first one since 2020, in commemoration of Veterans Day. So if you would like to come, please make your reservations by November 4th, which is a week from today, and let us know. There's no charge for the dinner. We have people who are sponsoring it. Thank you so much to our sponsors, but we need to have a count. So we'd love to have you join us. RSVP to the office, and please join us for that wonderful gathering. And thanks to the Special Events Committee for doing that. Shabbat Shalom. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. B'shabbat kodsho me'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh Bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher tziyad Mitzrayim. Ki banu v'acharta, v'yatanu kidashta, mikol Shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Very good year.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Closing song?
Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromam, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imeru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful weekend.
Shalom.
Stay safe.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.